Hey, I am Admiral Nips, and I have a podcast called Potato Thumbs.
You're not Admiral Nips.
So now you got me doing it. Ah, God, dude. Okay, I'm ready now.
All right, yeah, I'm rolling, man. Whatever you want to do.
Okay, so much fucking pressure, dude.
I know, I'm sorry, dude.
Hey, everyone. No, that wasn't. Sorry, I need to be a little more. What's the word? Like confident. Sorry, I'll try.
You got this, man. You got this. Come on.
Confidence.
You got this.
Hello, Elmer Fudd here from Get On In Here, a podcast where we interview members of my community. And this community, it's the Guardian Downcast. You should listen, which you are right now, because this is on the show. So continue to listen and enjoy it. Guardian Downcast.
I'll take it. Whether you're new to gaming or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about having fun and escaping the stresses of everyday life, but also being there to pick up our teammates, especially when they're down.
Guardian down.
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry in Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 332 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, ToddtheGatr, and I'm a day one Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we are a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise. We like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobby from time to time as well, especially in those roundtable episodes, typically at the end of every month, but this month's a little bit different. So if you're listening right now on the podcast platforms out there and want to join our live shows, just go to ToddtheGatr. It's ToddtheGatr on YouTube, Twitch, and now, of course, our Discord live stage where you can listen in or watch in, your choice, and hear us talking about the podcast before it actually goes out to our Audible audience. So it's pretty cool. And we also want you to give us some feedback. If you're in chat tonight, you're watching us live, touch base with us, give us some feedback. If you have opinions on what we're talking about here, or you have some input, usually if you're in the YouTube channel, especially, I can post it up on the screen. So we'll just go from there on that. I have my co-host from the great state of Utah, Mr. Kingsleymac, back with us again. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, doing great. Glad to be here once again.
Yeah, thanks for coming on a special holiday episode, weekend episode. We're recording on a Saturday night after the Thanksgiving holiday. And, I planned on recording just a little something, but there's been so much coming out prior to the next big DLC, Renegades, that I figured we might as well just have a live show and just talk about it tonight. So thank you, sir, for being here tonight. Yeah. Yep. We're, of course, going to catch up with our week as usual, and then we'll have another This Week in Destiny that came out on a Wednesday, unbeknownst to me. And then we have several articles that I want to go over relating to Destiny 2. We have another question of the week I created this week in a Discord, and we'll go over the results from that. And of course, if there's any questions from our community, we'll be sure to answer those if there is time available. It's going to be a little shorter show tonight because we have our Saturday night raid group that we do our Desert Perpetual raid with every week. So yeah, we're starting a little bit earlier tonight, an hour earlier. So hopefully we'll have plenty of time to get into everything. But I wanted to start out with you, Kingsley. How was your Thanksgiving, man? Everything be good? Is everything good with the family and all that stuff?
Yeah, Thanksgiving's fine. It's funny. I was talking about this a little bit in a raid last night, but and I love everyone that loves Thanksgiving, but I don't really love the holidays as much. There's a lot of obligatory things that people do and stress and stuff. However, this year was a really good one. Both me and my wife are kind of on the same page, and we don't like big meetups.
Yeah.
They're usually pointless. I feel like my wife comes from a big family too, and usually it's so much better when you can do little micro meetups. with just the parents or with the parents and one sibling and there's nothing wrong with a big meetup from time to time for the people that like that, but we don't like that. And so anyways, the way it worked this time for Thanksgiving, due to just a lot of what our siblings were doing, was it was just me, my wife, her parents, and then one other sibling that doesn't talk much. And so we just had such a chill time. I was able to like go into the kitchen and help my mother-in-law like make some things. It was super fun, super relaxing. We just had a nice chill thing afterwards. And
those are the best.
Since it was a small group too, we decided when we wanted to leave, it wasn't any like, oh no, we got to wait for someone else to leave first, or everyone overstays their world.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I know that very well. Believe me.
Yeah. So it was good. It was good. But real quick, Destiny had did a raid already.
Nice.
Last night, we did a Last Wish. I mean, this is, again, we're recording on a different night. So last night was Friday, real time.
Okay.
And KBM has not experienced Last Wish yet. And then also Barrel Barley and his brother Josiah, I think, are a little newer to it. And so we decided to put that together. Of course, Zombie was in it also, and Ronan. And, Ronan and I love Last Wish. Ton of experience with it. Of course, Zombie does too. And then KBM and the other guys pick up things really well, really easily. Same with Josiah and Barrel Barley. We got through it so smooth. Maybe like one encounter, we had 2 wipes. Every other encounter, we one-phased it or had 1 wipe.
That's pretty good.
So
it's not bad. I'm trying to think.
A lot of fun.
Last Wish. Okay. I'm trying to think of Last Wish.
Yeah.
Is my mind going? What the heck? I haven't heard that raid in a long time. Jeez Louise, man. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I look forward. We did, if we're talking about what happened this past week, we shout out to our raid team. That's Rona Red Lion, Allocate, Zombie Pops, Kingsleymac, of course. And we had a first time runner of the raid. I believe it was it Kelvin? Who were in with us last week? Remember who it was?
Who ran? Jeez. I'm doing so many raids lately.
He was brand new to it, but he did really well. Was it? No, it wasn't Barrel Barley. Was it? Oh my God.
Zombie, tell us in the chat. I'll start looking it up. I feel it's not Kelvin.
I was going to look up our prior raid, and I think I got distracted when I was putting the show notes together. But it was his first time he ran, and he did it really good. Oh, you know what? It was Miklo.
Oh yeah, Miklo.
Yeah, it was Miklo. Yeah, he did a really good job. I mean, we had a few runs we had to reset and start over, and some of it wasn't.
Sorry, Miklo.
It wasn't his fault. I mean, I think there was some stuff that was just acting weird.
No, nothing. Yeah, he picks up raids great.
He did good.
No one still really believes me, but I'm telling you, people, now we've done the raid a lot.
Yeah.
Once you get the encounters down, Wyvern still doesn't matter. There's too much variability in that one, even though in theory it's easy. I hope our team can tighten it up more, but we still have problems in there from time to time. Yet the one that was supposed to be the hardest, we just get easily now.
It was one time it never done. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, I've just been working on my, my seasonal reward track, which I'm really glad they're bringing that back in Renegades. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, we're obviously just a few days before Renegades here, and most of our focus is going to be probably on that or around that topic tonight. But Kingsley did want to mention, and we can do it here if you want, Kingsley, is the first article that we've been wanting to talk about for the last 2 shows, and we always run out of time, but I wanted to make sure we talked about it first thing tonight. And before we do that, though, I did have one movie review. I did see one movie this last week, and this movie was called Eternity. It's a brand new movie. It's at the theaters. And if you watch Defending Your Life, the old Albert Brooks movie, probably from the 90s, I want to say the early 90s maybe. It's about a guy Albert Brooks, who was kind of never took any chances in life, and he's being judged before he decides to go to heaven or hell. And everyone's living through their past lives, and he doesn't see anything. He's not impressive, let's put it that way, but he finds true love and finds his way to the pearly gates. But this is very similar to that. Caleb Turner, Miles Teller, and Elizabeth Olsen are the 3 main characters in this. And Callum Turner is Elizabeth Olsen's first husband, who died in the war in Korea. And then Miles Teller is her current husband, who lived through old age, and he chokes on something and she has cancer. So it's toward their end of life, and they both know he goes to this kind of limbo place where you have to decide where you want to go for your afterlife, for the rest of your life, forever. And the one stipulation is sometimes you can wait for your wife or significant other to die and meet them, and then share the thing is you share your life together. And anyway, what Miles Teller doesn't know is that Callum Turner, his first wife, waited 63 years for her to show up. And well, I'm not going to tell you what goes on from there, but it was a very romantic, very cutesy, very romantic movie. I enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. I was a big fan of Defending Your Life, so this movie was very much right up that same alley. I give this one 3.5 stars. It was a solid, good movie, but don't put too much weight on it. It's not a super deep movie. It's just kind of funny, kind of romantic, kind of a romantic comedy, I guess. And it was a good movie. You definitely can wait for it to come out on the streaming platforms. But that was it for me. Let's get into this. Go ahead. Yeah.
I doesn't have to be this week, but I'm just trying to make a note. I do have a movie review at some point. So
go for it, man. No, we're talking movies. Go for it.
Because I usually don't watch too many in the theaters these days, but I did see Wicked 2, Wicked for Good. It came out a week ago, well, like on Wednesday or Thursday-ish, but I saw it Sunday.
Okay.
Basically a week ago from tomorrow. And good part 2 to it. Of course, anyone who knows, I loved the first one, saw it like 3 or 4 times in the movie theater with different groups of people.
Okay.
And was waiting for the second one to come out. I would say on the first one, where I give it like a 9.5, almost a perfect 10, wow. I would give this one a little bit lower, like 9, 8.5, something like that. And I think really only because for me, not everyone agrees, but some people that have seen the play before agree that I think there's less catchy songs in the second half than the first half. Okay. Some people believe that with the stage show also. There are still some really good ones, though. And the middle of the movie, I was like, yes, it was like really epic. They did a really good job with mixing in, because see, the second half of the movie takes place actually during Wizard of Oz stuff, and then just a little bit after also, without spoiling anything. And they did a good job of bringing all those elements in without overdoing it too much. Like when Dorothy's on the screen, you never see her face. She's just kind of like behind the scenes. You see her a little bit here and there doing things, because the emphasis is not on Dorothy, of course, in Wicked. It's a bigger emphasis. It's on, Glinda and Elphaba, and, the Wicked Witch and the Good Witch of the North, and more actual Oz and the Wizard and stuff. So great movie. I think it's really cool. If you saw the first one, it's going to be one you would want to see in the theater, of course, potentially, and had a lot of fun seeing it.
Excellent. Well, I tell you what, let's take a small break here, and we'll come back to the Steam Machine article right after this. Hey, it's Todd with Guardian Downcast. There's all kinds of ways that you can contact us. You can contact us on X. You can hit up our Instagram. You can send us a voicemail, or you can even email us.
You can just tell them, go to the website at guardiandowncast.com.
You know what, Mike? You're exactly right. GuardianDowncast.com. Later, Guardian. Okay, now let's get into it, Kingsley. We've waited 2 shows to talk about this. I know it may seem like old news, but you had a lot to say about this new console out from Steam called the Steam Machine. I'm gonna share the screen here so we can talk about it. But I'll hand the mic over to you, man. What's going on with this new system they got going here?
Well, of course, it's not out yet. We don't even know the price yet, but a lot of information is out on it. And in a way, I guess it is good we waited a couple weeks, because we know a little bit more, but not a lot more. But first of all, just to really quick explain what this is for anyone who hasn't heard about it, is basically Valve, the company that makes Steam, and very, very company that does very well. Like everyone loves running the Steam gaming platform on the PC.
Right.
They are making basically a PC console. Now, what that means is it's a little square, cute-looking box. Even you can like change the faceplates on the front. Think of kind of like what a console would look, something smaller.
Right.
Yet it can run PC games. Now, there are some caveats, and very important caveats, which I'm going to get into in a second. But even though it can run PC games, it is running Linux in the background instead of Windows. But it doesn't really matter what it's running in the background, because they're going to have an interface like Xbox, like PlayStation, with just simplified menus. In fact, you can see this already if you have a PC, or a Mac and open up Steam in what they call big picture mode. Some people may have accidentally done that from time to time.
Right.
It kind of like makes all the big tiles of the games and like a different interface. Well, that is kind of the interface that's coming to this.
Okay.
So at first glance, this is pretty cool. Like, especially if you want to do PC gaming and you don't want to build a PC, right? And it's going to be a little smaller than a typical PC box. It's going to be pre-built. You don't have to worry about Windows. Although I tell people anyways, you never really have to worry about Windows if you really just use your computer just for a gaming machine. It's the people that use the computer for other things too, which they always get tempted to do. That's when Windows starts having issues, when you load a bunch of other programs on your computer.
Yeah, right.
Other than just gaming.
Yeah.
But that being said, with this, it is what it is. Okay, so it sounds cool, right? It's this could be really big for people that, want to do PC gaming without building something. I mean, some of the specs, let's just go through this. It's going to have a AMD Zen 4 CPU, which is pretty good, and an RDNA 3 GPU, which is pretty good also. Not top of the line, but they estimate that this will be about 73 to 76% faster than most of the PCs that people are currently using these days.
Really? Okay.
I mean, that makes sense because not everyone has a lot of money to make a monster PC build. So saying that's just an easy marketing thing, which is probably going to be true. Now, here's where it really equivalates to something else. Looking at all the specs, people can't totally agree, but it's either going to be a little bit slower or a little bit faster, somewhere within that range, than a PS5 Pro. That's what it equates to.
Okay.
Now, not everyone may know what that means, but some people do. Like, you know what that means. I know what that means. I already have a PC that's better than a PS5 Pro, so I don't care about this. But it's using a 7700 AMD-based video card, which is pretty good, but I have a 7800 XT, which is a lot better. So that's kind of, but also PlayStations use AMD parts. They use the CPUs and the GPUs, and so they were able to kind of like take things apart and see what it equates to. Now, here is where two things get really tricky on it: pricing and technically what it can do with PC games. I don't know which one you want to go over first. Maybe we can.
No, go ahead.
Let's just go over pricing.
Yeah. Because there's been speculation about that a lot.
Yes, I know. Now, everyone's like, okay, well, this is awesome, but what's it going to cost, right? Well, we have a complicated situation where, if people forgot, Xboxes and PlayStations, even when they've raised some prices recently, they are still technically sold at a loss. So if you were to equate what all the parts cost to put in there, but that's okay because the companies like, well, less so Microsoft these days, but like Sony and Microsoft a little bit are okay at selling them at a loss because they make up money other ways. And so, if you look at a PS5 Pro, if they're not on sale, they're $750. Sometimes they're on sale and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. And PS5, even when a PS5 Pro is not sold on sale, it's still sold at a loss at $750. It costs more than $750.
Right.
So this is complicated. And Steam said that they're going to sell it at about a price that, equivalated to like what it would actually cost to get those parts. Well, if that is true, then I'm guessing it has to be at least $700 to $1,000, because if PS5 Pro is already sold at a loss at $750, and this is about the same as a PS5 Pro, some people think it was a titch faster, but even if it's a titch slower, if PS5 Pro sold at a loss, that's where I'm coming up with that $700 to $1,000 range. So then with that price, is it going to be, are people going to be interested still?
I don't know, man. That's you're getting into PC land already, and I realize it is a PC, but
it is a PC.
You have to use a Steam controller, and they're trying to get a picture of it here. Yeah, the Steam controller is what it uses. That's this.
It is a PC and cheaper than most still. Like most people, if they were to build a PC these days, are looking kind of like $1,000 minimum. That's just what today's. You used to be able to do like $500 to like $750 for PCs. But it's kind of unfortunately about $1,000 minimum, unless you want something just really, really low end. That's not that great.
Okay. Yeah, and
so that's the unfortunate part about it. Yeah,
right. And
that's just, it is what it is.
And it of course goes to your Steam Deck, which you're already spending. I don't know how much Steam Decks are. Were they $300 or $400? I think they're about that. It's the Steam Deck. My son has one. I can't remember what he paid for it though. I'm not really into portable gaming, but I'm guessing via Bluetooth here, it can go to your Steam Deck or the Steam Frame, which is their I guess their Oculus knockoff. It's kind of like, let's see what it says about this. Yeah, it looks just like an Oculus to me. Same controllers and everything.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think Valve should actually probably change their mind and decide to sell it at a slight loss also. And they're probably not happy about this idea, but they make so much money from the Steam store. So why not, right?
It's all about platform too, right? It's getting people to buy games off your platform. If you have a console, then I think, I mean, it sounds like a good move for Steam because, right now they can't compete with the console market. But now here they can.
If they could get it like at $650, I don't think it should go lower than that. But if they could get it at $650, then that would be psychologically sounding way better than a normal PS5 Pro price. And from all accords, this is a titch faster than a PS5 Pro. So I think $650 is the magic number. But I unfortunately think they'll sell between 700 and 1,000. Now, here's one other thing that's very, very important. Yes, it'll play 99% of PC games out there, but it won't play all. And you know why?
What's that?
Because to run on Linux, it has to do an emulation mode. And that doesn't slow it down. But guess what emulation can't do?
What?
Any game that has anti-cheat.
Oh.
So Destiny is a game it can't even play, among others right now.
Jeez Louise, I didn't think of that.
So people listening to this, do your research.
Battlefield 6.
But any kind of like those probably like the Call of Duties, all those games, like any game that has an anti-cheat system. Now, those games could make an anti-cheat system for Linux to run on this. But as of today, Destiny can't run on it. Any game that has an anti-cheat system cannot run on it.
It is. I tell you, I'm very impressed how small this is. I thought it would be much bigger. I thought it'd be as big as like a subwoofer or something, but it's actually very small. I'm looking at it in this picture right here of a woman playing a game on her, just has it setting around on her desktop. That is a big advantage, the fact that you could put a PC that small on your desktop. Where if I put mine on my desktop, it'd take off half my desk right now. It's enormous. And not to mention it makes a bunch of noise. This thing is supposed to be very quiet too. So I don't know. I could see some benefits here. I can see why people might want to, especially streamers, because streamers don't have limited space on top of their desk.
No. Streamers, no. They need a way better PC than this.
But no. I'm thinking,
Guaranteed
what if
they don't want
no?
this.
But it'd be much easier to do a 2 PC stream. They could play their game on this and then use their computer for all their other resources.
Yeah.
No, okay.
These graphics, what they get you is upscaled 4K at 60 FPS.
Same thing as Pete.
So they don't want that as streamers.
Okay.
If they have the money, they want to see like actual 4K or 120 frames or things like that.
I got you.
Yeah.
I think if it hits the 750 to 1,000 range, I don't think so, man. I agree. I think they're going to have to take a loss on it to sell their games. Because face it, that's where the money is, really. I mean, PlayStation's been selling at a loss forever, and Xbox, up until recently, has been selling at a loss. And I think with consoles, it's all about getting people to get stuck. They want you to be on that platform. They want your eyes. It's all about where you're paying attention, right? They want your eyes on the PlayStation network. They don't want you to be on Steam. And this is one way where they could probably take away some of the console market a little bit, especially if people already got a big Steam library, and I know I do. So I don't know about 750 though. I don't know about that price. I mean, I think someone said 400, and I was like, that's awfully cheap for what.
No, nothing's going to be 400 anymore.
Yeah.
Xboxes and PlayStations aren't going to be 400 anymore either. And so sorry, people. Nothing's going to be 400 anymore. I mean, maybe something could, but not like anything that's like pretty substantial like this.
Yeah, Zebrak in the chat says, if anything like Steam Deck, then you can actually play Destiny 2 on it. With the price of RAM now, going to be hard to sell the box at a price of just RAM. Yeah.
So, no, with Steam, I mean, with a lot of those things, you could run like a dual boot mode and install Windows on it and do all this shit. But like people that are buying this for convenience, they are not going to figure out dual boot and mod it and put on Windows and all this stuff. They would be buying it for it being an easy system. If you know what you're doing and you're building your own PC, then you wouldn't be buying this either. So
I tell you, I'm
The
trying.
only people that would dual boot this would be like if someone gifted it to them.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have the money, and then they're technical, and then I could see them dual booting.
I don't know, man.
Putting Windows on it. But.
The one thing Steam has over the console markets is they have an immense library of games. I don't think PlayStation or Xbox can compete with that. They have all the indie titles and stuff that, and
that is the huge benefit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could see putting this in my living room and having a lot more access. And let's face it, I play a lot of stuff on Steam too. So I have Balatro on Steam.
Like I said, if they can get 650, I don't think they will, but if they can. I think that's the highest. Look, people will buy it even in the 700,000 range, but if they got 650, I think that would be a psychological bump where a lot more people would consider buying it.
What's the going price for the PS5 Pro right now?
I think $750 if it's not on sale.
I think I paid, when it first came out, I think I paid, did I pay $599? I thought it was like $150 more.
Jeez, that's really cheap if you got a Pro for that. Yeah,
I got a Pro right when it came out.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, I got it right when it came out. So what's up, Jimmy Rayner? Yeah, that is, I don't know, man. 650. Even 650 to me is like, it gives me pause. Because I'm thinking I'd put that, as my wife would say, you could put that 650 toward a really nice computer. The thing with computers, though, there's a thing about having a console machine is, and I know everyone says this is overblown, but you do have to keep up with drivers. And the thing I love about consoles is it does all that automatically. It's automatically fit for that console. There's no. For someone who just wants to jump on and not worry about the new NVIDIA driver for the month or whatever, you don't have to worry about downloading. I know that in the grand scheme of thing, that's nothing. I understand, but for people who casually game, who love Steam games, I could see that being their market. But the problem is, I don't know how big that market is. That's my worry.
And yes, like I said earlier, people don't be scared of getting a PC. They do all auto updates. Again, if you do what I said earlier, if you only do it for gaming, I promise your Windows PC will never get messed up.
Yeah,
but if you start doing other things on it, that's when it gets messed up.
Trying to do too much with it. I mean, and then you only have so much memory too. It only goes to 2 terabytes.
Well, and you get conflicts. That's the big thing. Some drivers will fight with other drivers, but again, if you're only doing gaming,
that's true.
Windows PCs do not have any issues. They auto update well, and everything's easy.
Private Jim Rayner and on Twitch says Steam Machine discussion. If yes, Steam Machine giving developers a baseline for PC performance that developers can develop towards could benefit players massively, as well as Linux finally getting good drivers from NVIDIA. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that is a good point on if this does even a little bit okay, it could get the game makers that make the anti-cheat subcontractor developers to make a Linux version also. And then we can get natively run Destiny on it or other games potentially. So hopefully that'll actually happen then, and that'll be good.
And Zebrak said Steam Deck does that as well. So yeah,
what as well?
I'm thinking he's talking about can you play Steam Deck on a major TV screen? Can you cast it to a big screen TV? Because that's what we're talking about here.
I'm sure you can.
Destiny on Linux is the goal. Yeah, I get that too.
Like that's the goal.
I don't know. I
don't know if that's the goal, but
was talking about updates. Yeah, Steam Deck does that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Update stuff. Yeah. Okay. I got you there, Zebra.
No. Updates, people, you never really have to worry about again, unless you're doing your PC for lots of things and then you cause the problems on it. But yeah.
Okay.
But no. Okay. That's all right. It took longer, but that's all I have to say about it.
I know we wanted to talk about it. I know this is a couple weeks old already, but I did want to make sure that we did talk about it.
Let us know, people, what you think.
Yeah.
Are you interested in getting one? What do you think a good price would be? And are you concerned that it cannot run Destiny natively on it right now without some tinkering? So
right, yeah.
And this could all change.
That's true.
But let us know what you think.
Yeah, GDC feedback channel in our Discord is a place to go. And Jimmy Rayner says you can connect the Steam Deck to a monitor or TV. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think my son's done that before on his. So yeah. Okay. Well, good story. Thanks, Kingsley. I tell you what, I think it's about that time. It's time for This Week in Destiny. Hey, just a quick reminder that we have several Destiny 2 clans, and we invite all of you to be a part of it. If you're looking for a home to share your Destiny experiences, now would be a great time to jump in and get to know some of these great gamers. We're here for the community and friends you make along the way, and no hardcore restrictions. And enjoy what time you have for Destiny is all we ask. So if you're looking for a clan out there, join our Discord. That's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast, and just reach out to a mod and we'll open the door for you. So join us, and later, Guardian. All right, This Week in Destiny for November 26th, 2025. This Week in Destiny, we're having a Wednesday TWID. That's because the USA celebrates Thanksgiving tomorrow, and we want to give everyone, including the community team, some extra time to rest before Renegades launches next week. Yes, December 2nd is next Tuesday. Time flies when you are a light bearer, right? What they did do a few things here. They did have the new trailer, the new Vidoc, making of a Renegade, and if you saw the developer live stream. By the way, what did you think of that, Kingsley? Did you watch the developer live stream? I didn't watch it live because I had to work, but what do you think?
One thing I learned is I think it's pre-recorded. Because
so?
Did you hear about the issue that happened when it was going live? Twitch cut out for like 10 minutes.
Really? I did not know that.
And it was still playing on YouTube, but they did not seem to care in the slightest. So that's why I'm thinking like they didn't even say like, oh, let's get it going on Twitch again. Now, it did eventually start up on Twitch, and then when it did, it was in the exact same spot YouTube was and everything. And so I was guessing that these things are pre-recorded, and then it was just Twitch somehow accidentally cut the update, and then they got it going again in the same spot. But
Twitch cut out and the stream rolled back. Holy shit. That is crazy, man.
Well, it didn't roll back. It was in the exact same spot.
Like
so people would have to probably afterwards. Yeah.
They said 5 minutes before the cutout. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is nuts. Oh my gosh. Let me share this here.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it. Of course it's good. I thought it was well produced. You know, we've seen a million well-produced Vidocs in the past. It doesn't necessarily mean the next year of Destiny is saved, but for everything that they're showing us, I'm excited about, and we'll be talking about that a lot tonight.
Yeah, they will. And they got me excited. And oh my God, the new, I wouldn't say villain. I guess he's the anti-villain, right? The new, I can't remember what his name is, but man, the voice lines were fantastic on that. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I really think we're going to get more out of this than we did Edge of Fate. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Edge of Fate campaign I thought was very, very good. I thought it was very well done. It was a little confusing because it was, you're switching to a whole new saga. I thought there would be more. Yeah, he's like Kylo Ren 2.0. Exactly, Jimmy Raynor. Yeah, I thought when we started the new, what's it called? The new arc, the new story arc. I thought they could set it up a little bit better. I thought the intro going into the new saga, I thought was a little clunky. But once we rolled in there,
most people thought the story was amazing.
The story was good.
The mechanics were clunky.
I thought,
the campaigns were
the ball, the matter spark, and all the metamorph and stuff. Yeah, I thought that just got in my way, to be honest. It was a novelty when I first played it, and then I was like, I want to get to the other side of the world without having to go through all these hoops and, jumps to, do the mattermorph and all that stuff. And I just got real old real fast. Yeah.
It's so funny. Everyone's tune about this has changed now. Cause I don't know if you remember the first week when it was out, everyone's like, this campaign is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, just wait, people. I think you're overselling it. And then now no one really says good things about the campaign anymore. Yeah. I mean, no one. And of course the story was amazing, but it's kind of funny how like people looking back change your tunes more.
Well, I was excited, of course, first, but then it started wearing on me. And then, well, I'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, if you watch the Equilibrium dungeon is coming out on December 13th, and it's of course Evan F 1997 and CB Gray will be hosting the Dungeon Zone live from Bungie HQ. That kicks off at 6 a.m. Pacific. That's 9 a.m. Eastern time, guys. And it'll feature interviews with Bungie devs, previous dungeon race winners, and more. And if you watched it for, I don't know how long you have to watch it for, probably 15 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour maybe, you'll get this cool looking emblem right here, which I thought looked really good. Looks kind of nice. So what I do like though is this new trophy they have for the world's first. This is impressive to me, Kingsley. I've never really liked the belt, but I really like these trophies because you know what you can do with these trophies? You can put them right here behind you when you're streaming. I mean, it's
just like a belt.
The belt's a little clunkier though. Try putting a belt somewhere on a shelf behind you, Other than nailing it to the wall or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like these
Like my
trophies.
display posters.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, but if you have walls behind you, I guess it makes sense. But display is different, man. I think displays look good on the wall because they have that 3D effect.
No, I agree. This is cool. I'm not trying to say it's not cool.
No.
This is way cool, actually.
I like this. I mean, it's not going to make me want to do day one, but because I know I am not hardcore like a lot of these guys, and it would just be an element of frustration. I don't jump into the day one stuff anymore. I just let everyone play it out, and then I just enjoy it at my own leisure when I have our team together to do it. So the Renegades artifact, this is what I want to talk about. This is the new Renegades artifact. And if you don't want to be spoiled, then you might want to fast forward through this because they are telling everyone what the artifact is going to be going into this next season. Remember, your old artifact stuff will be going away in a couple days here. So it is anti-barrier hand cannon and sniper rifle. And it is overload pulse rifle and overload submachine gun. And then you have bows for your unstoppable stuff. So what do you think of that? Are you happy with that layout, Kingsley? I mean, I'll probably be using the Mint retrograde for the overloads, right?
And remember, there'll be more than this anyways. In the further columns, there's usually some ability thing.
Right,
and
exactly.
then, of course, there's all the intrinsics that the exotics have that are built in. So, I don't care that much.
Well, in column 2, it's about impact, shock, and gravity. It grants access to helmet mods. You can get kinetic and void and kinetic and arc siphon mods, which I almost always use these because all my builds are based on making orbs of power, right? So this is kind of cool because this is the first time they've done this, where they've combined the kinetic with an energy, which is really good because they have the kinetic heavy stuff coming out with the new blasters and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Gravitic voltaic charge. When you have an arc or void super equipped, increase the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. That's really good. You don't have to put stacks on, or at least you can add more to even more to that. But expert handling, weapon final blows, granting a stacking bonus to stability, which resets on weapon reload or stow. Swords gain better guard resistance. Fastest draw, if the first shot shortly after reloading or readying your weapon is a precision hit, not a kill, a hit, gain flinch resistance. That'll be good in the Crucible. And then, of course, your elemental siphon, rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super, create an elemental pickup. I'll be using that one, no doubt. We'll give you an orb of power. I'll definitely be using that one because that'll work out perfectly. Column 3, press the advantage. Breaking a combatant shield grants increased weapon stability, handling, and reload speed. Swords gain increased guard resistance. You have kinetic synthesis. Sustained kinetic weapon damage and rapid final blows have a chance to generate a unique ammo brick. Collecting this brick will grant ammo to the equipped kinetic damage weapons and grant special and heavy ammo progress. And this is going to be like the old white bricks, right, Kingsley? Like the white bricks.
Well, they said something about a gray brick,
like
but
a gray,
I know what you mean.
Like a grayish white?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Reload at range, precision hits with bows and sniper rifles grant a stacking bonus to their reload speed. That's kind of light. I know there's a new heavy sniper coming out, but I don't know if that'll be worth taking up a slot. Riposte. Shortly after guarding with a sword, your light and heavy attacks stun shielded combatants strong against unstoppable champions. Anybody's going to have the lightsaber. They're going to want that riposte slot taken care of. Power from pain. The last one on the third row. Rapid final blows against weakened combatants grant you devour. I don't know. I'll have to see how that fits into my builds. Fourth column, and it gets crazier and crazier here. This is one I'm definitely going to have. It's called Dielectric. Defeating arc debuffed targets grants bolt charge. Rapidly defeating arc debuffed targets spawns an orb of power and heals a small portion of health. Armor Smith. Breaking a combatant shield temporarily grants you damage resistance and increased melee damage. That could be big. Counter energy. When you are a member of your fire team stuns a champion, you gain energy from your least charged ability. That's kind of light. Combination Argent Blade. Briefly pause after executing a light attack, then followed up with a light or heavy attack to empower your sword for a short time, granting a bonus damage and charge rate. I have a feeling that one's going to be used a lot. And then finally, Singularity Blade. When you have a void elemental buff, melee and sword hits weakened targets, while melee and sword final blows create a weakening burst. And then finally, the final column here, column 5, Elemental Orbs Arc. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to spawn an arc elemental orb. Arc orbs can be thrown or shot to create an arc explosion that jolts targets if it damages. Does this remind you of something, Kingsley? This is like the Warmind. This is like the Warmind fiery balls that you know, on the Warmind weapons. It reminds me of that so much. Warmind, I can't remember what they called them. The Warmind something. Kinetic Rupture. Kinetic weapon damage against a powerful combatant has a chance to create a kinetic rupture. Targeting this rupture causes damaging explosion that staggers combatants strong against unstoppable champions. Kind of the same thing there. Sniper's Meditation. Sniper rifle hits grant stacking sniper rifle damage, stability, and reload bonuses for a short time. Heavy ammo sniper hits count as more than one hit. You see, I'm probably going to use the heavy sniper in the raid for DPS because of this Sniper's Meditation.
Which heavy sniper?
The new one, the new blaster one.
The new one.
Oh, yeah, gotcha, the brand new. Is it exotic or is it? Is it exotic?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I was just thinking a lot of the current, like Whisper, could be big time back on the table for the top DPS weapon.
That could be. Yeah, that could be.
Who knows?
Sword Storm combo, performing 3 sword light attacks followed by a heavy attack, summons penumbral blades that surround you to damage and disorient combatants. Sword final blows extend the duration of these penumbral blades. This could be a DPS monster too if you have a lightsaber or a sword. That might be something to look into. And then finally, Void Infestation. I'll definitely have this one on. Defeating a weakened target spawns a tracking projectile that weakens other targets. Hell yeah. I'll definitely be using that as a Void Lock. On my Void Lock build, at least, I'll definitely have that one on. So what do you think overall, Kingsley? Anything kind of stand out there?
Not really. No? I feel like, sure, we can speculate ahead of time, and we're not going to memorize all these. But once the gameplay actually gets started and I hear from what's doing well, then I get excited.
Yeah.
But
start looking for the build videos.
Yeah,
right?
Look, artifact stuff is like, it's a little bit of excitement, but I never get bent out of shape on like, oh, it's only this weapon this time or whatever. I just take it for what it is. I don't get too much interest in the artifact perks in general.
Jimmy Rayner,
it's so funny because so many people were waiting. When's it coming out? When's it coming out? Yeah. This one, and it was like the very last thing on the last TWID that they announced the artifact perks.
Exactly. Fun fact: this will be the first time we get anti-barrier hand cannons, if I remember correctly. I'm not worried. I'm not missing out at all, Jimmy Rayner. We had Ariana's Vow before this. Is the first time we have it on legendaries. We normally get it on Unstop, right? And then Overload, you can only look it up back to season 21. Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Anyways.
Yeah.
We better.
Anyway, that looks interesting, especially with the Devour and the debuffs. That's what really got my attention. Start blasting. The new gear coming in Renegades. We've already talked about a lot of this. You got the Praxic Blade. This sword uses special ammo. But it isn't a kinetic sword. It's in a kinetic slot. Its blade reflects enemy projectiles. You can throw it at enemies for a ton of damage. We saw that in the Vidoc. And of course, it's a sword. So you can use it to strike enemies at close quarters. You'll get your own Praxic Blade during the Renegades campaign, and it is very customizable. So I'm looking forward to that. The At Your Service machine gun look really good. It actually is it's a machine gun that throws.
I think it could be super powerful.
Could be. It throws threadlings. You can shoot threadlings out of this gun. That's really weird. I got to see that in action. They probably did in the Vidoc and I missed it. The new Trials of Osiris gear, it looks really good. It's called the new Demonic set. The 2-piece gives you primary weapons gain a bonus to flinch resistance after sliding. I hate the after sliding part. Then Martingale, the 4-piece benefit is your weapons gain a temporary increase to handling and aim down the sight speed when the ally is defeated or you revive an ally. That could be big. Weapons that are coming back, the Immortal, Astral Horizon, the Cataphracts GL3, but the new weapons coming to Trials, the Martlet, a new Void lightweight frame pulse rifle. I will be going for that. And then Corundum Hammer, a new Strand adaptive frame hand cannon pass. Looks just like it looks like some of the past God weapons that are 140s and the hand cannons. Shader, you get new Shader, Benevolence of the Nine, a new Ghost Shell, Hierarchic Shell, the Chitin King ship, and the Sun Chaser Sparrow. These will all be in the Flawless, the tower, the lighthouse. When you get to the lighthouse to open up, that'll be where these come from. The new armor sets and Renegades, we already saw these they showed these already in the Vidoc, but this is the the Kimbo set. It's like a fencing. I don't know if I like that or not. The new Crucible gear has the Suros theme. I don't know. We'll have to see how that looks. The Dawning armor weapons. These look really good, man. I cannot wait to get the new Dawning gear. This looks really good. Looks like robotic wolves. It's really cool. They show a couple of pictures of it here. And all the things that are coming with Renegades. You got the content calendar, Renegades Vidoc, the new Equilibrium dungeon, no power reset, new order system, buffs and for returning players, 300 more vault space, exotic ornament customization, introducing Vanguard alerts, weapon tuning preview, arming tuning preview, and abilities tuning preview. These are all the articles you can go to that have already been posted if you want to really catch up and see what's going on. Black Friday deals. We already are past Black Friday now, but they had some buy one, get one free emblem pins, I like those emblem pins, man. Those look really nice. I don't know if I'd ever wear those, but anyway, they look all right. Really cool emblem too, called Even Darker Days. It looks really neat. And they got some sales going on, so I'm sure it runs until December 2nd. So basically when Renegades starts. So you have this weekend to jump in there and get that. I might jump in there and look for one more thing maybe. We'll just have to see because I like the emblems. They have a Destiny 2 Open Access Week from December 2nd, which is when Renegades comes out, to December 9th. In other words, the first week. You can play all the Destiny 2 expansions, raids, dungeons, content packs, all at no cost. And all you have to do is just jump in and play. You can try it for 1 week for free. It includes the content from Edge of Fate, Standard Edition, Destiny 2 Legacy Edition, and all currently available dungeons. Player support report. Shit's broken as usual. There's always something broken. But this is the timeline of events for Reset on December 2nd. 7:55 Pacific, Destiny 2 is brought offline. 8 o'clock, preload for update 9.5. 9 a.m., Destiny 2 will be brought back online for update 9.5, and it'll be available for all platforms and regions. Players will be able to play starting at this time. Then 11 a.m., Destiny 2 maintenance will be completed, and you can preload for update 9.5 price below our preload timelines. Okay, beginning on the ways. Yeah, then you can preload it if you want. Exactly. Xbox, Steam. You're going to need, just give you some file sizes here. PlayStation 5, it's going to be 173.5. PlayStation 4, 204 gigs. Xbox Series XJ, X, and S, 171 gigs. Xbox One, 161 gigs. Steam, 326 gig. And then Epic Games, 325, and Microsoft Store, 159. Known issues list. We don't have time to get into that tonight. So we got some art. We got some movies of the week. So we hope you all are excited as we are that we have a great time discovering everything our latest expansion has to offer. There are more breathtaking places to visit, as many heroes as villains to meet, and a new Cabal Imperium to take down. If you hear yourself making shoo, boom, boom noises while playing, don't worry much. You won't be the only one. Sorry, I had to do that. All right, Destiny 2 community team. Thank you, Destiny 2 community team. We thank you every week for communicating with us. I didn't expect one this week, so I was a little caught off guard, but glad you did. Glad you did.
They have always just on Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Okay. I didn't think they'd do one this week, but perfect. All right. There's a ton of information that's come out about Renegades and some other topics in Destiny 2, and we're going to get into that right after this.
Hey, Elmer Fudd Games here, and you're listening to Guardian Downcast. If you're listening to any other show right now, I will break into your house and destroy your kneecaps. I will twist off the headboard of your bed so when you go to stretch in the morning, you fall between the crevice. Guess what? Dog hair and old socks. Disgusting. No one wants that, but we want you to listen to this podcast. How's that? Was that good?
I like it. All right. One of the first topics I want to talk about this week is the Game Post put out quite a few articles on Destiny 2 this week, some really informative stuff. But the first one is about Destiny 2 Renegade's new invasion system and lawless frontier activity could become a core part of future Destiny content, says game director Tyson Green. Man, we haven't heard much from Tyson Green at all. But he did say this. It brings a Gambit-inspired invasion system to the new Lawless Frontier activity, and Bungie is already eyeing it as a core feature for future Destiny content. We talked about the Praxic Blade, the blaster weapons. Those are all coming. And at the center of all this is the new Lawless Frontier. It's a new 3-player activity built around high-risk jobs like smuggling and bounty hunts. Buried inside is something very familiar to long-term time players, an updated version of Gambit's invasion mechanic, now turned into a full opt-in PvP versus enemy system. So you have these new 3 planets, and then at the middle of it all, you have this invasion tab. And just quickly how it works. Once you unlock Invasion and Renegades, Lawless Frontier gives you 2 ways to play around it. You can take on high-risk jobs as a 3-person fire team where another Guardian might break into your run, or you can queue it up as an invader, get dropped in someone else's job, and play the role of hunter instead. When an invasion starts, a defending team gets a warning that an enemy Guardian has entered the area. For that moment, a job becomes a lot more stressful. You're not just trying to finish your contract and make it to your extraction. This kind of reminds me of an extraction shooter type of thing. You're trying to survive another player who is there for one purpose, to take you out. Oh, this is not going to get toxic at all. The invader has very straightforward goal: get kills to earn credits. If the defending team manages to take out the invader before that happens, the invader fails and is removed from the mission. And I think the invader gets 3 lives, if I remember correctly. But what do you think of this? What do you think of this, man? The fact that this is tied into the main PvE content here, Kingsley. What do you think about this?
Well, I don't know what you mean by tied into the main. It's just the one activity, Lawless Frontier.
But it ties. Now, this isn't part of the campaign, right? This is going to be an offshoot from the campaign.
No, this is the Lawless Frontier activity, which is part of the DLC. It's basically what we're doing after the campaign. I think they said you may do it once in the campaign. I think so.
Maybe just to test it out.
I forget.
Okay.
Yeah, but well, I think the bigger question is, this isn't Gambit, and people are a little sad. This activity looks like it could have a lot of potential.
Right.
It's going to be hard to know, of course, until
jump in.
We play it and see how it is. But it definitely has more potential than previous activities we had. That being said, what they showed us on the Vidoc and everything, this is not Gambit by any means, for people that like Gambit.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of put the final death nail in Gambit, unfortunately. You still can't really get a lot of the title stuff. I don't know. Didn't they say they were going to do something with Gambit? Did they mean this?
I think this is.
Or did they mean...
No, I think this.
Yeah, but this isn't Gambit. This is not Gambit for the people that like Gambit. I think, again, this could be a good activity, but I'm a little concerned. Everything will be riding on this, and if people like it as much as Gambit, great. Because Gambit was very long-lasting. Mm-hmm. That was one of the best things about Forsaken that kept people playing for a long time was Gambit. And as far as though, I think what the point of the article is getting on is you can opt in or opt out of, well, you can just opt in, sorry. You automatically opt out at first if you want to do this higher risk reward thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a good thing. I mean, I think it'll give people to feel empowered. They won't feel forced. They can try it. If they don't like it, they can be like, okay, whatever. Now, unless people are going to start complaining, why aren't we getting the same amount of loot for the non-invasion one? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they did tell us you get more loot. There's more you're risking if you do the invasion one. But I hear nothing but good from here. I'm a little sad that it's kind of seems to put more of a death nail in Gambit.
Gambit's DOA. Yeah. I mean, there's not many people who play it, but there's a hardcore few in our community that does love to play Gambit. But
it's because it's just dead. It's not because, people I would even like to play it, but there's no real reason to,
Well, according to Tyson Green, this whole new invasion system isn't just a one-off gimmick. Bungie's treating it as a real experiment for the future of the series. So, yeah, he had an interview with a Japanese outlet, and he explained that the team treated the invasion system as a test bed for the future. The idea is to give players control over how much danger they want to take on. There's the gambling. And then reward them properly if they decide to accept that pressure. In practice, Bungie's experimenting with a very different kind of PvPvE instead of the old bank and invade loop from Gambit. So maybe it is taking the place of Gambit. Invasion in Renegades is built around job-based missions where you decide up front if you're willing to risk another Guardian dropping into your run. Bungie wants to see if this style of your choice, your risk, your payout can become a long-term foundation for PvE content, not just something tucked inside one expansion. So this isn't the matter spark, in other words, is what they're saying, right? So Zebrak says probably to see if they should do more stuff of Gambit down the line. That could be a test bed for future Gambit games. I mean, maybe this isn't the revamp they're talking about. I don't know, but it sure seems like it to me because it's very much like a Gambit style type game. I don't know. Anyway, I just want to mention that.
And on this topic, real quick for this Lawless Frontier activity, I think this will be the most important. I'm telling you, people, this will be the most important thing to see how well
Renegades does
this second half year of Renegades does, because I'm guessing the campaign is going to be good, but that'll last us 2 to 4 weeks, even if you play slow or whatever. If this Lawless Frontier activity, we want to keep repeating. Not just because we have to get this up, but it's actually fun too. We even play it many, many months down the road. That would be excellent news because this is kind of our, other than the other fun things we get, like, of course, the dungeon and stuff, but like this could be the main thing that keeps us happy.
Yeah,
you know?
Could very well be. That's true.
Hey, McMaximo here, one of the other Todds. You're listening to the Guardian Downcast, home of the coolest Discord group on the frickin' planet. Word.
Anyway, that was one article I want to talk about. Kingsley, I'll let you pick the next one, man. What do you want to talk about next? And I'll just pull it up on the screen here. We had lots to choose from this week.
Right in front of me. 1 second. Oh. 1 second. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the leak that might be coming for Shadow and Order.
Okay. All right. I was afraid you were going to say that.
I want to give a little caveat to the people.
Yes. Yeah. The caveat is there might be some spoilers here. So
unconfirmed.
Yes.
So this may or may not happen.
If you don't want to be spoiled or even on the prospect of being spoiled, then this is your warning because this might come true. It may not, but it is from a pretty decent source. But Destiny 2 Shadow and Order leak reveals Pantheon 2.0 details, returning bosses from Scourge of the Past, Crown of Sorrow, and Spire of Stars raids. Those bosses were brutal, man. Those Cabal bosses.
No, they're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, the people, but they will be brutal in Pantheon, I'm sure. Anyone who raided a lot, you always heard the story of Crown of Sorrow boss was hard, but anyone who raided a lot, it's just like any other raid. It's not necessarily any harder. In fact, the Spire of Stars one,
that was a tough one.
It became a joke. Became super easy.
Well, I played
before it went away too.
I played the.
You could just do like.
I played the.
What was it like tractor kit?
I played the harder version.
Yeah, good.
I played the harder version where there was another Inspire Stars. I played a lot of the legendary, or what do they call it?
So did we. Yeah, but that boss was a joke at the end. You could like insta melt him. I think it was with like tractor cannon or something funny. Yeah. But anyways, I'm excited about this. Of course, I love Galran from Crown of Sorrow.
Yes.
And Spire of Stars, I think people will grow to love. And then Scourge of the Past, I always felt like that arena and that boss encounter was kind of messy. It wasn't a very good layout for being a tight encounter, but I know a lot of people like that one too. So I think this is nothing but good news if these are the ones that they are going to have for Pantheon 2.0.
Well, according to the leak, Pantheon 2.0 would feature Insurrection Prime from the Scourge of the Past, Galran, like you said, from Sorrow Bearer, and Crown of Sorrow, Val Kaur from Spire of Stars. The idea is not just a simple...
all weird.
I know. The idea is not just a simple reissue. The note claims that this version of Pantheon would remix these encounters with boss fights that pull mechanics from earlier encounters in those raids. Pantheon version 12 returning vault encounters. And
Version 2.0.
Yeah, 2.0. Yeah.
Did you get 12?
What I said, 12? No, version 2. Version 2, I meant. Yeah, Insurrection Prime, Galran, and Valgor. Boss encounters merge mechanics from previous encounters. Yeah, that's all. It's a text file is where they got this from. So just letting you know, that's where they got it from. If this is accurate, this could mean Bungie not only bringing back boss encounters that have been inaccessible for years, but also updating them with new mechanics. The Shadow and Order major update is set to launch on March 3rd of 2026. So, okay.
Well, I mean, let's say this is true.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say just Pantheon comes and not much else, because we do know that the mid updates, even though they're called major updates, are pretty nothing. I mean, this one, if it's Pantheon 2.0, will be a lot better than what we got for Ash and Iron.
Yeah.
But what if it's only Pantheon and not much else? Will you consider that a win? Do you care? Like, do you want more than just Pantheon?
See, what I loved about Into the Light is that I could, again, I'm going back
to
other
stuff too.
The solo aspect where I could jump in and see how many levels I can get through, the Into the Light activities they had. And of course, focus
the onslaughts and
the
all
onslaughts.
those things.
Yeah. Get in there and get the guns I wanted. And I'd match make sometimes. Sometimes I'd run it solo and see how far I can get. And usually you had to have a team, but I stayed away from Pantheon because if you didn't have a dedicated raid team, it was really, really tough to get far in that. It was really tough, man. Pantheon was hard. I think I did it. I did the first week's encounter because they would add one every week. And then I was like, I'm good. I don't know. It didn't get me excited. I just went over and, I mean, the fact that they had, you have to imagine they're going to have probably some other more soloable or lighter activity combined with it.
Not necessarily, because Ash and Iron did it.
That's true.
All they had was the one thing.
Ash and Iron.
That's my point that I'm getting at.
Very disappointing. Ash and Iron was very disappointing. Yeah.
But this is, again, what we should be expecting, people. Like, good news if we get more, but Bungie said we're getting less content this year.
Yeah.
Even if it's only Pantheon and nothing else, I still think that's a win for what they can do right now. Of course, I would like to see more stuff, but I was just curious, what you'd be thinking if that's all we got was Pantheon,
Yeah. I want to talk about another one from the Game Post, and this is from Zuhad Ali. There was a survey that went out, and Bungie collected information from people who they surveyed, behind the scenes in the past. And they are considering adding Sparrow Racing League, unvaulted campaigns, NPC sidekicks, new subclass abilities, new Gambit mode, and more in this new survey that they put it out, and they gave people choices. I think Astrocross did a video on this because he did get one of these surveys, or someone sent him one where he could go over it in the video. And I don't know, man. They're mentioning possibly coming out with a Sparrow Racing League. They're talking about, God, I don't know, man. I don't know if with the lawsuit they just settled, maybe they settled it so they can reopen the Red War stuff, because I really think that's key to Destiny 2 is the Red War campaign. That's a pretty good way to bring in new Guardians. And let's face it, without that Red War campaign, it kind of falls short for new players trying to get into the game. Think about it. If you're not on the ship and you don't get stripped of all your material and all your weapons and stuff, and then you're kicked off the ship, that's a lot more impactful than watching a 5-minute video catching you up on what's been going on. It doesn't even compare. So yeah, unvaulting campaigns, I think, is going to be crucial, man, because if they want new players to get into this, because, there's been other articles that we probably aren't going to talk about. We don't have time tonight, but where some of the developers, some of the leadership, in fact, in Bungie admit that they're not bringing any new players in. It's very, very scattered as far as bringing new players in. I'm like, well, what do you expect? There's no story like we had when we started playing Destiny 2. If you had that original story from the beginning, I think it'd be a different story. I think people would have a baddie to go after. They would, that's when you kind of restarted, right? Kingsley, you started with a broken sidearm, and you had to go into the EDZ and patch yourself up and start getting strength. And I mean, that's pretty crucial to the beginning of the story.
I don't know. I mean, since you asked me, I'm not saying they shouldn't bring that back, but I don't think that's the saving grace for the new player experience, because people even said back then that the new player experience wasn't that great. What we need is more than that. We need an actual, what other games do with more tutorials, like what Destiny Rising
Sure.
does when they actually teach you how to stun a champion and all these things. That's what I think we need more than the Red War campaign. But hey, I'm not fighting against it. And I think it'd be awesome to bring back.
Well, they did mention some other options here as far as what do we think about the new stasis and strand abilities. I think they should bring those in. They need to. I'm surprised they haven't already. In fact, gear tier enhancement. In other words, the ability to upgrade the tier of a weapon. Weren't they going to offer that in Renegades where you could upgrade your tier with some kind of...
Yeah, that's coming in Shadow and Order.
Later.
It's coming in the update.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay. They want a new simplified portal scoring system. I don't know how much more simple it can get, but okay. New void melee abilities. Okay. That's not getting me real excited, but I mean, there's already some decent ones, and then they talked about power prestiging. And I know I've mentioned this in the past because I am an ex Call of Duty player. Ability reset power to 10 and basically starting all over again. And they said, the power prestiging was interesting after players already had their power reset to 10 with Edge of Fate, and after months of complaints on how much time it took to get the seasonal power back up and the portal grinds and all that stuff, they're still at least considering an opt-in reset that come with extra rewards and prestige visuals. I don't know. I know you wouldn't do it, Kingsley, because you don't care about the power, the power number, but I would consider it. If
I think you would.
If there's definitely some rewards that are worth it, or worth going through that power grind, then I might consider doing it. I mean, I'd have to have a really fancy emblem. I'd have to have maybe some glowing armor, something you would get when you come out of trials, that you went flawless. It'd have to be something on that level for me to power prestige. But, it'd reset your seasonal pass. You can level up your seasonal pass all over again. I don't know. I
think they just meant power, not season pass, but maybe.
Okay. I don't know. I would consider it. I would consider it because I can't be a hypocrite here because I've already mentioned that that's something that Call of Duty did, and that's what keeps Call of Duty players in the game is prestiging. We were in a race to see how quickly we could prestige. And the one thing I think that where Call of Duty, and I haven't played Call of Duty in a long time, one thing they could do was what Arc Raiders does, where you have a pocket where you could put something that you can't lose. So if you have like a really badass weapon that you've really ranked up, got a lot of kills on it, you've got all these attachments, it's a god roll, it's a tier 5, I think you should have the option if you want to do a power reset or a prestige, there's one weapon you can bring with you with every prestige. And then finally, by the time you're at 10 prestige, you already have a pretty lethal combination of weapons or armor or whatever. So I think if they have it where you could bring one thing with you, it might be worth it.
Well, what does this even mean? See, you're seeing it as like a full reset. I'm only seeing it as a power reset. You're not losing anything. You're just doing the powering up again. And again, because power doesn't matter right now.
Yeah.
So while you're back at 10, you're not going to feel any squishier because everyone's power gets equaled out.
Yeah.
But the point of doing it is if you then grind from 10 to 550 again or whatever, then you get that prestige. And
some people like the grind
and stuff.
I like the grind. I mean, I just hit 500.
Yeah.
Just now. But I'm playing very casually. I'm playing like 2 to 6 hours a week, 2 to 8 hours maybe. Well, not including the raid time. So yeah, as far as personal leveling up time, I'm playing about 2 to 6 hours a week now. It's cut it back quite a bit, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, I don't think it's a bad thing as long as
it's an option.
As long as that's not their main priority and they're taking time away from other things.
With every game, you have super hardcore grinders, and this would fit people who grind through all the content and go, well, there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Nothing to do now. Well, now you got something to do.
Well, there's always something to do. Bounties, right?
Well, yeah, of course. Of course, more bounties. No, but this would...
Well, other people like that.
This would give you more incentive to get more bounties and challenges done because you're trying to power prestige. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I would consider it. Because I've mentioned it in the past. They did mention Sparrow Racing League, a new PvP and Gambit mode, and Raid Nights. Raid Night is meant basically a day of the week where players can play a featured raid for extra rewards. The new Gambit mode, they don't say anything about that. Or Gambit event. New difficulty tiers to legacy raids and dungeons. a raid rotator, which I thought we already had a raid rotator. I guess that's not going on right now. Legacy raids are included.
We did.
Now it's not.
And
Now
we
it doesn't
will.
happen. Yeah.
I think it's coming back for Shadow and Order, I think.
Okay. Added old campaigns and other activities to the portal. Always good thing. Rotating portal activities each week. Daily, weekly competitive PvE events. I mean, I still think they should. I hear you, Allocate. They need to bring back rotating raids. Yeah, they did take it out.
Yeah, I don't know about a raid night, though, because what if it's on a night that, even if they pick like a Friday or a Saturday, what if it's a night that
your raid team where half your people don't, have to work? Yeah.
I don't know, even as a raider, I don't know what this raid night would mean or if it's a good idea, but obviously rotating raids is something they can easily do.
Weekly competitive PvE event, that would be different. Daily and weekly competitive PvE event. Leaderboards is everything, man. People want to compete. That's for sure. That depends what it would be, of course. Is it total points or is it how fast you get through it? And then what about the cheaters? There's a bunch of, it's very gray area right there. And then new PvP modes. In other words, like combined arms. PvP modes aren't going to move the needle. I'm sorry. PvE is very weak right now. And the only thing,
PvP maps could a little bit.
Modes. Right, they had modes, but
they said modes. Yeah.
Maps, obviously more maps would help. I mean, they have neglected PvP. It's really bad. I mean, the only thing that gets me coming back to PvP now is Iron Banner, and they've only done it one time in this whole season, one time for 1 week. And man, they had some really cool armor to go after. There you go, Bungie. That's the solution. That's the formula right there. Have a PvP or a PvE event and have some really kick-ass armor gear to earn with some really, really cool armor set bonuses. Enough said. That'll get people to play right there. At least your hardcore players. So I don't know. They just were. This is from this is from a survey that they set out. Another thing they talked about was clan upgrades. Boy, clan upgrades are way overdue. Trophy room, unvaulted campaigns, and NPC sidekicks like a pet. Would you want a pet, Kingsley? Do you want a little pet?
No, but what I would like, what a lot of games do, is not just buddies, like ARC buddies. I want an actual, sidekick that fights with me all the time. A lot of games do that. Yeah.
New clan upgrade and progression system. Absolutely. How about more people can be in your clan? I'd love to combine our 3 clans into one, and then everyone can just be on the same page and talk amongst ourselves. If we didn't have the Discord, people would have no clue from clan to clan what was going on, because you can only talk to the 100 in each clan. And that is
Discord's better anyways.
It is better, but it's just so limited, man. 100 people in a clan is so limiting. Anyway, in-game trophy room, more replayable, story-rich side quests for NPCs. Of course, that would always be great. New vault with increased space. I think that's a dead horse. New onboarding experience for new and returning players.
There we go.
It's been mentioned forever. All in-game Destiny 2 information glossary. That's good. Yes, people want to know what terms mean, because half the people don't know what these terms mean. And in-game Destiny 2 tutorial library, as Kingsley mentioned, that has to be in place. Yep. I almost feel like that's a necessity in any kind of long-time game like we're playing, That just
I know, and those last 3 things can almost be combined into one point, the new player onboarding and all that. But yeah, of course, I would love for a Sparrow Racing League to come back. Yeah. It wasn't just a Remember Berries thing. I remember having a lot of fun in it and running it a lot. Now, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But, it'd be fun if it came back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it even mentions in the article that they pulled a lot of this stuff from Destiny Rising, which Destiny Rising's done a lot of good things that Destiny 2 should have done, probably, like the clan upgrades and clan housing and stuff. I mean, that's so cool. We talked about this in the past, so I won't waste any time on it here. But, Sparrow Racing, yeah, okay, to jump in on the weekend and laugh and giggle with your friends, try to ram them off the road and stuff, sure. But I got tired of Sparrow Racing pretty quick. I don't know.
Mario Kart's like one of the most popular games in the world.
It is, but I play this game to shoot things. I don't play it to race. It's not a racing game. And, they don't need to make it a racing game. And I'm going to probably get a lot of comments over that, but I don't care. I got tired of it pretty quick. But the tracks were outstanding, though. I love the tracks. They were a lot of fun. They really put a lot of time in the tracks. I thought that was really cool. You know, Kingsley, this is going to be the best year of Destiny 2 yet.
The best year? Wait, haven't I taught you anything to be realistic? Okay, I guess I'm looking forward to it also.
Exactly. And you're listening to Guardian Downcast. Okay, that is the article I want to talk about. What else we want to talk about, Kingsley? I'm looking at the time here. We got about 25, 30 minutes.
Guess the D3 news.
Yes.
Well, rumors. I mean, I don't care that much.
You know what? Let's do this.
That one's exciting too.
Let's finish on this story, and then we have a question I want to answer on the way out. Someone left a question in our Discord. I want to make sure I address that question tonight because I have some thoughts on it.
Of course.
So let's get into Destiny 3. Destiny 3 is extremely early development at Bungie. This is from a leaker. It's a known leaker that has been correct with some stuff in the past. And I'm just going to read this here, and you just tell me if this is BS or not, Kingsley. A well-known Destiny leaker claims that Destiny 3 has entered extremely early development, giving fans hope after years of waiting. They talk about how rough Destiny 2's been. Yes, we already know about the low player count. Earlier today, Destiny leaker and data miner Colony Deeks posted on X that Destiny 3 is in extremely early development at Bungie. He shared accurate Destiny and Marathon leaks before several of which were verified by the game post. So while this still falls under unconfirmed information, it's coming from someone with a track record with Bungie projects. According to information, they say they've been holding on to this info for weeks because the project is so early that talking about it didn't feel right yet. But after another account posted something similar earlier today, they decided to speak up and make the claim public. This is a statement they shared. Yes, Destiny 3 is in extremely early development, the X post reads. Some of you may have seen a tweet early this afternoon that mentioned that. We have been sitting on the info for a few weeks now and wanted to wait to talk about this, seeing as it is such an early state, and it just sucks to see others post about it carelessly for free internet points. We plan to share more info in the coming months as we wait on a larger scale things to develop and take shape. Sit tight. Bungie has not commented on any of this officially. They're focused on the Year of Prophecy right now, and they're focused on Renegades right away here. So I'm sure they don't have time to mess with this right now. But if this is legit, Kingsley, what is Bungie going to have to do to make Destiny 3 a success? I know we're probably going to have this conversation down the road many more times.
Yeah.
But just on the surface level here, if this is in fact going to happen,
I can answer that, but there's more news to the story too. So I don't know if you want me to tell you that first.
Give me the up. No. Then hold off on the question then and update us on any news. Go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, I think even though this is kind of a 50-50 thing about if it's actually true or not, I think we're a little over that 50% mark that this is true.
Wow.
For a few reasons here. Now, remember, people, early development can mean, usually what that means in a studio is there's like a small group of like 5 or 10 people, and they're just like mostly whiteboarding stuff. They may not even be doing much coding yet. That's what early development means. And a lot of early development projects will get canceled. So it could even be true that they have early development of Destiny 3, but then it gets canceled in a few months. But there's a couple other things to this. Remember how they told us recently that we're going to get a roadmap and it's getting pushed to next year?
Zebrak was just mentioning that in the chat. Go ahead.
That would give them enough time to get past that early development and decide if it's worth it or not. And one other reason why I think this may be true is because there's more potential news on this. How this may go, again, this is just speculation, but supposedly it's another leak. People may not like hearing this, but how this would supposedly go is we already have planned one more year of Destiny for that Faith saga. So summer 2026 to summer 2027. But supposedly what's going to happen is then at summer 2027, Destiny 2 will just go in maintenance mode. Nothing really new is coming other than like seasonal events and things like that. But like really nothing new will be coming. And then Destiny 3 will come out like around 2030. Okay. That's cool news, but it's scary news too. If Destiny 2 is going to go in maintenance mode for like 4 years where we don't get anything, you know.
Well, then that's where the power reset prestige system would probably buy some time.
And all those other things.
That would buy some time.
Yeah, and they could put Destiny 2 kind of in like that not like a online classic as good as that, but they could still have like surveys that come out like every 6 months. They give us something that we all voted on, and we do that in the meantime. Yeah, I mean, we can go. I'm sure we'll talk for weeks, especially if this does get announced, on what they would have to do to make it good. I mean, everyone's going to have different opinions somewhat, and back on our discussions too, you and I both agree, I would rather have a slightly different game than Destiny 3, but Destiny 3 would be the next best option in my mind, rather than a full new sci-fi game.
It would have to be, I really think it would have to be all new characters, all new soul system.
Yes.
Everything would
we
have
to go new, obviously.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, as much
and
as
unfortunately, that means you're not bringing your weapons.
Nope.
You know,
totally new. You know, you start from
new
scratch.
Locations, of course.
But I mean, think about it, Kingsley. Think about it. Destiny 2 kind of improved on a lot of things that Destiny 1 didn't have. I mean, we definitely got a better quality of life upgrade after they ironed out the initial stuff in Destiny 2. Eventually, we started getting a lot more things that we definitely wanted in Destiny 1. So for me, they're going to have all of that as a no-brainer. All the quality of life that they brought forward in this game would have to be in place at a minimum. And then I think there would need to be absolutely
plus more stuff. Yeah.
And obviously, I think the reason they might be thinking this is Sony may be in agreement with Bungie that this engine maybe is maxed out. You know, I hate to speculate on that because I don't know enough about engines and stuff. I tried to talk about an all new engine and you razzed me for years over it. So I don't go down that road anymore. But if it is in fact, you know, if the game is maxed out and if they're adding stuff to the game, but some other stuff has to come out, then yeah, you're at capacity. And if there's no way to improve it, the only way you can is to come out with a new game. And well, let's look at it this way. Let's say what you're saying is correct, that they're going to finish the prophecy year. What'd you say, 2 years?
Summer 2027.
Summer 2027. Yeah. And then after that, it's like...
wait. Yeah, 27, yeah.
So it's like basically Destiny 1. I mean, do you hear much about Destiny 1? I don't.
So we would have to move on to other games unless we're just doing like, maybe they would have repeatable like things, even in maintenance mode. But
so if that's the case, this podcast will last exactly to summer of 2027, maybe fall of 2027, we finally turn off the lights.
Maybe we'll all still raid and stuff like that. It's way too early to say.
It's way
too early to say, but
I know. I wasn't trying to get dark.
And if that even comes true, but
yeah. And I tell you, I'm really excited about Renegades. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I mean, I don't know all the comics and stuff. I'm a much older Star Wars fan. I was big with the movies and stuff, and I really didn't get into the comics like some of you guys did. So there's a lot of things I'll talk about that you guys will be actually, no, you're off there. That's not true. But I'm a true fan of Star Wars, and I'm so looking forward to
Gotta play Outlaws. I'm telling you, when I saw more of like the missions that they're doing, it's so much like copy and paste from Star Wars Outlaws, which is not a bad thing.
Okay.
And I really think you would like Star Wars Outlaws.
I might consider it. I mean, sounds like we're going to have time to play some games here soon. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, that's never been my problem, man. I mean, there's a reason why I'm not playing Battlefield 6, why I'm not playing Borderlands 4. Or is it 5? 4? 4.
It's 4.
I mean, I played those games a little bit, but there's always this pull back to Destiny because I always think this is my hobby. This is my hobby game. This is what I want to log into and work on something because I'm so familiar with all the inputs. I'm so familiar with how everything works in this game that, you know, and Allocate nailed it. It's all about the community, man. It's all about, I mean, that's all I'm thinking about when I'm gaming is, man, this would be something fun we could maybe offer in the Discord or something down the road we can do. And that's always been my focus. You know, this is where all my friends are.
Yeah, the game would not, I don't think the game would ever be shutting off because Destiny 1 never shut off either.
True.
But it's just like when you're talking about like having like a podcast or like YouTube streamers, if nothing new is coming out in the game, then that's a little hard to do, you know?
Yeah, it is. And
but I'm sure people will still want to raid and do all the things and have fun. You know?
I tell you what, man, if they can get a repeatable activity, a core activity that everyone always comes back and wants to play because it's always different, you know, there's nothing it's trite or, you know, the same about it, then it might hold our attention long enough until the next game comes out. But it just all depends, man. Maybe they can have an event team that comes out with new stuff for like Solstice and, Guardian games and the usual events that we do every year. Maybe have a small team just to upgrade stuff like that. And then that might keep us busy. The player count's definitely going to be lower, but I mean, we're already there in some respects. So, but if they brought back a lot of the stuff that we talked about previously, Sparrow Racing League, bringing back the old campaigns where people can come in and actually play from the beginning of Destiny 2 like we all did. And then, of course, the prestiging system, all of that stuff. Then, and if this invasion mechanic, this invasion opt-in becomes like a big competitive thing that people want to do, it might carry, it might carry Renegades for quite a while here, but I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Well, I can't believe that this is actually potential news now. Again, potential, not real news.
I was shocked.
This is, I don't know. I'm not like, me, I'm realistic. I'm not like getting my hopes up because this may not happen, but I'm partially excited. It's going to be a long way off no matter what, because things take time to develop. But,
remember too that, Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy had a spinoff Destiny game called Codename Payback that got shut down.
Canceled. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
this could,
maybe they can come back with something like that, or maybe they may be just like, dude, we're done. Yeah, we're making our own stuff now, but I haven't heard anything from those guys since they quietly left, other than maybe enjoying their money from their stock buyout. I don't know. Anyway. All right. Well, we know this is probably a topic we're going to revisit several times into the future here, but I at least wanted to mention it because, like you said, it might be over that 50% mark where it actually could come true. And if that's the case, then we have something to look forward to, So we'll just have to see. Okay.
You mean you're not looking forward to marathon?
Oh, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But that is going to be for our questions from our community. Next, we're going to talk about our question of the week. And then I have one question from one of our community members I want to answer. I've been really thinking about this and I want to make sure I answer it tonight. So we'll do that right after this. Hey Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. So before we go tonight, I did want to answer a question we got from one of our community members, and this is from Vanilla Gorilla. This was a really good question, and we didn't have time to answer this question in the past couple shows, and I want to answer this one tonight. His question is this: when you compare Destiny 2's long-evolved power fantasy ecosystem built around subclass, weapon sandboxes, and predictable ability uptime with Arc Raiders' physics-driven, squad-centric combat loop, which leans heavily on environmental interplay and reactive threat management, what does each game's core design philosophy reveal about how players are meant to express mastery? In a hypothetical high-end raid-scale encounter shared between the two games, which system would better support mechanical depth, role differentiation, and long-term meta stability? Did you want to touch on that first, Kingsley?
Yeah, it's like we want to write a thesis paper here. Good question, by the way.
It is a good question.
Very deep, very deep.
Yeah, it's on game design. I'm not real strong in game design, but...
just to back up, and just kind of give a high level answer at first. Like when you talked about raid things, and I kind of get the point. Like, and Destiny 2 raids have gotten a lot better over time. It was just kind of like more dumb. Like we're just brute forcing bosses with just heavy DPS output.
Stand here and do DPS. Yeah.
Stand in one place.
They've come a long way.
Blah, blah, blah. But I love what he said about like enemy reactive threat management. I mean, that's again something we always keep coming back to in Destiny. We wish like the enemies would be a little more AI-ish, like that's just the easiest way to say it. It doesn't mean they have to actually use AI, but they probably would. But, some of the newer raids, I mean, the Desert Perpetual that we've been doing does the best job with that yet. Not only can you pick the order and the mechanics and the things are fun, they're not just dumb boss things. Like we actually have to make a DPS phase go longer, the full amount, we have to do things during DPS to extend. And if you don't do it right, it goes anywhere from basically failing because we have to do so many more phases to helping it go a lot easier.
Right.
So the overall point, it's going to be hard to answer this very logistically vanilla. But I think obviously any kind of system that has a lot of just variability, playing with the environment versus just a weapon sandbox will be more fun in the long run.
See, I've been following Arc Raiders very closely because I think this is one game that has come very close to a game as broad and as big as Destiny 2. Because Destiny 2, there's so many moving parts in this game, and there's build crafting, and they're two different games, no doubt. But as far as the environmental, he talks about the large-scale environmental, what do you say here? The reactive threat management, environmental interplay. That was a nice term. I like that. I agree. Arc Raiders right now, I think, is killing it on that end. The fact that these Arc machines are hearing you fire your gun and then all of a sudden come your way, you start attracting attention. Or maybe there's a team of 3 that are shooting at you and all of a sudden the Arc, all these way different kinds of Arc robots that come charging in and maybe even kill those 3 people because they were making so much noise. You almost want to be stealthy. I love that kind of stuff, man. But here's the problem with Arc Raiders. And the reason I haven't jumped into it yet, I've been following people streaming it. I've been following people making content for it and writing videos and, producing videos on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of stuff on Arc Raiders because it's a very interesting game, man. I mean, I love the post-apocalyptic view of it all, which kind of emulates Destiny, the Cosmodrome, very post-apocalyptic, where these lone guardians running around with all these, they're Arc robots, but they could be, our enemies could be very much similar. It could be, you got like Shanks and stuff with with Fallen and stuff like that. So it's very similar in that respects. But here's the thing, guys. I know Arc Raiders is a lot of fun right now. It's a month old, guys. It's a month old. Let's give it 10 plus years like Destiny 2 and see where it lies. I know they've mentioned that Arc Raiders is going to be a 10-year game. That's very bold stating that, because here's the thing that's going to hurt Arc Raiders in the long term. It's the PvP. I have not jumped into Arc Raiders yet because they don't have a PvE only version of the game. And right now everybody's having fun because they're trying to craft, they're trying to complete, they're trying to level up, they're trying to get to their certain level. I think 75 is the maximum level. Everybody's having fun right now. Everybody's playing around. They're stomping their feet in the mud puddles and stuff and going, this is so cool, isn't it? And friendly. Oh, what are you trying to get? Oh, here, I'll come help you. Come on, I'll help you get it. I know where it is. I know where this piece is you're looking for. It's been a month now. And now what happens when you have your super grinders out there who are already at level 75? They've done everything in the game because they've been playing it for 24 hours a day. Now they're saying, and when I heard this on a video, I said, man, does this sound like Destiny 2? There's nothing else to do. What else is there to do now? Well, supposedly the PvP aspect is supposed to carry this game. But here's the difference. Destiny 2 separated out the PvP from the PvE. If you don't include, okay, Gambit is an exception. And yes, the new invasion system, they're playing around with it. They're making it kind of like an extraction type game. I get that. It's a test bed. But here, what happens, Kingsley? I'm going to ask you a question. What happens when your super grinders have done everything in the game and they're bored? What is there left to do?
He's not even asking this is the question. You brought it into a different area. You could use any game as an example.
It's very true. It's very true.
He's saying is stuff like interactive reactive threat management better than like what Destiny can do,
I love that aspect. I love the fact that they have where the enemies react to you and aren't just sitting dumb over there in another area, just stumbling around.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you can say this to any game as an example, not necessarily.
But that is showing Destiny's age right there, because the enemies don't really react to you very well in Destiny 2.
Yes. Yeah.
But look at the new Arc Raiders.
I don't care if Arc Raiders isn't popular in another month, because same thing will happen with Renegades also a month later. And it'll be less popular.
It's true.
But as I think the ideas he's saying definitely make sense.
I mean, people are going to start
a lot to talk about.
People are going to start trolling like crazy. I saw a video of a streamer the other day. The guy shot him, and he said, "Dude, he was looting some other body, so he fell down into the extraction, where you press the button to extract and go back to the underground again, Esperanza or whatever it's called, Sparta. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, he pushed the button, and the guy reopened it." And came and says, "Oh, I got you, buddy. He says, "We're going back to Esperanza or whatever it is." And he knocks him out. Didn't even give a shit about his loot. Knocked him out just to be a dick. And there's going to be only so much. It's only going to be so much that are PvE players that like running around the world and collecting and upgrading their workbenches and stuff. There's only going to be such a certain level. And that eventually people are going to go, fuck this. Every time I join in here, there's cheaters. There's people just going around, just shooting you, not even talking to you and knocking you out. And they don't even care about your loot. They're just trying to troll. And it's going to become very hardcore after a while, because eventually when everyone's done upgrading everything, and I know they're not doing hard resets with the new seasons. They're just kind of pushing you in that direction to kind of reset your gear, because you can get these extra benefits over here. And some people will probably do that, but there's always going to be that group of people who are like, "No, man, I got everything. I'm good. And instead of all this, "Hey, I'll help you out, buddy. Come on over here. I'll show you where it is." You're just going to get people to go in there and just want to just grief people all day long. And then where are we at? We're at Call of Duty level. We're at Call of Duty.
You got on a tangent.
Sorry. But I'm saying is, right now, I know Vanilla Gorilla, he's excited about this new Arc Raiders game. And I love the design I love the way they design the worlds. I love the fact that these worlds are huge too. This is definitely this is what I would see in a Destiny 3, Kingsley. This is what I'd want to see in a Destiny 3.
Hopefully, yeah.
I'd want to see very ultra realistic worlds that are feasible, that you could think, okay, this could possibly happen, That's kind of what Cosmodrome was for me. I said, this could happen. The old Russian areas here, with these old rusty cars, that could very well happen, It could be something called the darkness that comes through and knocks us all out, that we're so small and we don't even realize the darkness is much bigger than us. But the fact that you've integrated your PvP into your PvE game, I think is what's going to be the death knell of Arc Raiders.
It was never meant to be a PvE game, right?
It started out as a PvE.
So the people that already like it are going to continue to like it.
It started out as a PvE game, and it became a PvP game. They said that was too boring,
but that doesn't matter. Like all the betas that people played, it is
true.
What it is now.
But this is what we mentioned Marathon. This is what I'm hoping, that Bungie is keeping a close eye and seeing a month later what's happening to Arc Raiders now. Is people are getting a lot more trolly. They're starting to grief people that are trying to play the game. Especially if you're a new player trying to get into the game, there's nowhere in this game where you can start out and practice and get better at this game. And I talked about it several shows ago. I think the Crucible and Destiny should have an area where there's just bots, where you can practice firing your guns against things that are shooting back at you that are maybe a little smarter than a dumb dreg over here. I think they should have that. And what I'm kind of waiting for with Arc Raiders is I do want to jump in and play this game, but I'm waiting for them to come out with a PvE version. And I have a feeling before long, they're going to finally pull the trigger and do that. I think they're going to release a PvE version of this game. Mark my words, because there's going to be people.
There you go. Then
there's going to be people who want to jump in here.
Great game for you.
And then once people jump into the PvE only version against, the ARC robots that are running everywhere, then they can go, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm got some good weapons here. I think I'm ready to jump in and go against some players now. Let's see how I do. And the fact that there's no soft landing for anybody trying this game, and it is an extraction shooter, which already narrows your player base down quite a bit to a certain amount of players who like that kind of thing, where they can sit there and grab a bunch of stuff and then lose it in one gunfight. I think they're going to have to go to a PvE only version, but we'll see. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I've just been playing Destiny so long that I kind of see a lot of Destiny overlap in the new Arc Raiders game. We'll just see. I keep an eye on the content creators out there who are making this game, and a lot of people are saying it's let's just say the honeymoon phase is over, and now I'm starting to see people that are starting to say, well, you know what, maybe there is a problem here. Maybe there is a problem with this game, or maybe there's not enough to do.
On that point, all games are having shorter honeymoon phases these days. I think it's a very interesting topic, and that includes Destiny too. Again, Renegades could be good for some people for 2 to 4 weeks, other people more, and then what is there to do, right?
Exactly.
Well,
I just want to answer that question because it was a very well put together question. Vanilla Gorilla, thank you for that. It was a very well put together question, and I do see a lot of overlap between Destiny 2 and Arc Raiders as far as how they made the game. And Arc Raiders and Bark Studios even mentioned they're very respectful of the Bungie studios, and they probably grew up around a lot of our Destiny game and, wanted to make these games. And I love the fact that they're ex-DICE employees too, because DICE made some great games back in the day. And the person who's the head of Embark Studios was the head of DICE with the Battlefield games for a long time. And I'm just curious how they do it. I'm just curious how they do it. So, Private Jim Raynor, you need something that makes you incrementally better over long times, but is disabled in PvP, like Paragon and Diablo, or Shards and other stuff in Warframe. Warframe has no honeymoon, only the relationship phase. That's why it lasts so long, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and Diablo does pretty good with that too. Path of Exile games like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And they do full resets too, where everyone starts at scratch. So.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to. You can stay in the eternal realm, the full resets, the seasonal stuff.
I got you. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Before we go, I wanted to answer our question of the week. I posted this question beginning of the week. The question was, with Renegades coming next week, what are you most looking forward to playing? A, the new social hub, which is the Tharsis Outpost, the Lawless Frontier game mode, weekly Vanguard alerts, the Dawning event, new weapons, the blasters, Arena Ops, that 6-player seasonal activity, Prophecy campaign continuation, and the last one was I'm not playing Renegades. So 13% said the new social hub, and I didn't vote, but I'm going to add that's my vote, is the new social hub, because I can't wait to go into the bar and see what they put inside that bar area. That's going to be so cool. It's going to be I'm so looking forward to doing that. The Lawless Frontier game mode, 8.7%, 4% the new Vanguard alerts, 4% the new Dawning event, 21% the new blasters, the new weapon types. The Arena Ops was 17%. And of course, probably the one I expected everyone to mention was the G, Prophecy campaign continuation, was almost 31%. So a few comments here on that. Deadpool 1 Merc says, I'm looking forward to everything, but I really want to get the Darksaber. I wish they add a Mandalorian ornament for each class. That would look amazing. Either way, I'll play the game regardless. Lately, Pokemon Z through A has been taking up most of my gaming time, though. Zariel says, most looking forward to the campaign, the continuing story, and the new weapons as a very close second. And then Zombie Pop said, I usually do like to do the events. Looking forward to see if they learned anything from the last event. So there you go. What would you put there, Kingsley? Did you vote? What would you put?
So I did. Here's the thing, though. I kind of want to change my answer now.
Well, it's not unofficial.
I picked campaign.
Okay.
So I added to the majority there.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I'm probably, even though I generally was looking forward to that the most, because it'll be the most interesting new stuff.
Of course.
I think there is potential. I hope. I really do hope this time. I guess what? I'm not just having realism. I'm having some hope. But like I think so much. Right. You guys have no understanding how much it's on this Lawless Frontier activity game mode. And I hope this is good. That's what I'm now looking most forward to see how it will be. I've heard some mixed reviews for the people that are starting to come out with reviews, but that's not enough to say anything yet.
Yeah.
So
majority, a lot of the Destiny content creators got invited to do a playthrough of some of the Renegades content, and some of them have put out some videos about it. And it's been kind of mixed. It's been kind of mixed. I think for the most part, it's been positive. I've been watching.
The campaign will be great.
Yeah,
I'm sure it will.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be super long. And then but the game mode and what comes afterwards, that'll really be time to tell. And again, I have some hope that the Lawless Frontier game mode will be cool and long lasting, because that can. And remember too, you can level up in that stuff now. You don't have to do Portal if you don't want to level up.
That's what I wanted to mention. I'm glad you mentioned that, Kingsley, because they really dropped the ball. I full disclosure, I lost the bet. I did not get my Fated Weapon title, and I'll tell you why. Because as soon as I ran through the campaign, and then I started looking at all the triumphs and things I needed to get done to complete the Fated title, it really wasn't too difficult. But the problem is that I couldn't power rank on Kepler. I couldn't rank up anything power wise. And that was the main thing to do as soon as you finish the campaign. If you did the campaign, I'll admit on my other two alt accounts, I didn't do any of the campaign. I went straight to the Portal, because you could play Portal on day one and just start grinding. And I got to admit, I had more fun playing the Portal from level 10 to 200 than I did from 200 to 500. I had a lot more fun in the beginning parts of playing the Portal, because they gave you so many wonderful upgrades, and your gear, they showered loot on you, and the solo ops and everything was not overly crazy. You didn't have champions to worry about. You had your radar. Imagine that. You can use your radar. And I was having so much fun playing from level 10 to 200. Once I hit 200, then I had to finally go up into the higher level playlist. That's when you started getting timed events, and you started getting things like your radars disappearing, and now you got champions to deal with. And I just hope that I can just play in the Renegades activities and rank up my power. And it sounds like I'm going to be able to. So I may look and see about getting the next title for Renegades. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I did lose the bet, which means I have to do a HUDless raid sometime in the near future to honor my end. And I think Ronin Red Lion is going to set that up, because I think we have to decide which raid is going to be the easiest to do it on, because it's going to be so disorienting for me. I'm used to seeing icons and stuff up here, and not going to have that. So it's going to be a much tougher, but I'm curious to do it because I've never done one before. So there you go, Kingsley. Yet another bet you won. And I'm telling you, I would have gotten Fated title if it tied in to Power Grind.
I don't know, man. There's still, even if it did, there was still some hard, annoying things you had to kind of do there at the end.
But I didn't have to do them all, though. I like that.
No, not all, but
Bungie gave us that option. Yeah,
hard, annoying things.
There were some. Yeah. And you know what's fun? I ran through Fabled. I ran through the whole campaign over again in Fabled, and then I came down to the very last part of the campaign, the Fabled part of it, and I had to do this new storyline, or this new activity, or whatever encounter. And it was frickin' timed. Bungie, have you learned anything? Get rid of the frickin' timers. If you didn't have a timer in there and all I had to do was slowly just work my way through those yellow bars and then finally complete the activity, I would have gotten that triumph done. But the fact that you had all of these enemies, and it's like they flipped the switch to 11 as soon as you hit this last storyline of the Fable part of the Kepler. And I was like, man, what on earth? I was able to get through all of these, and it wasn't easy soloing a lot of this stuff in Fabled. But
yeah, you're not supposed to solo all that stuff on the hardest level.
You should always have the option. You should always have the option. And but there was no
right. You're supposed to be able to solo.
Way. There was no way that last I don't even remember what it's called now, but there was no way I was getting through that solo. It's because it had a timer. I'm saying if they took the timer out and I can just do it and work my way systematically through the enemies and get it done, I would have not had any issue. I would have been able to get through it. But the fact that I had to get rid of all the yellow bars in a given time, I was already too weak because it's a negative 30 already. So I don't know.
Hey,
anyway,
don't worry. I
That's
guarantee
that's
there'll
my
be something
excuse.
you don't like in the new title also.
That's going to be my excuse, and I'm going to stand
That'll
by
be your
that.
excuse for the next one too.
Probably will be. Anyway. Hey everyone, as I take my mandatory bathroom break, I'd like to thank our Patreon community for giving back and continue to help out a listener-supported podcast like this one. If you've received any value for today's episode and want to give back, check out guardiandowncast.com and select the Patreon button to learn more about it. Now let's return to the conversation. And yes, I did wash my hands. Later, Guardian. Speaking of our patrons, I want to give a shout out to our Patreon community. Thank you to everyone who gives back to our community, especially our Dungeon Champion patron, that's Deadpool1 Merc, our Raid Boss patrons, Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. If you did not already, we just released a behind-the-scenes Patreon episode just a couple days ago, right before Thanksgiving. So if you haven't looked at that yet, brand new patron episode just out, and talks about all kinds of different clips that didn't make our live podcast that you guys will be able to hear. Before we go, some final thoughts to wrap up this week. It's really short and sweet this week. We had I had not planned on doing a live show this week. I was just going to do just solo podcast, but Kingsley had some things he wanted to talk about, and there was just so much news about Destiny 2 this week. It just came out of all kinds of places that it just meant, we should probably have a live show and talk about it. So I hate to let news like that go by the wayside and not get at least discussed, at least in a little bit. So just remember, Renegades does go live this Tuesday reset. I'm really looking forward to jumping into this because I'm already a big Star Wars nerd, and this is definitely gonna hit that itch of Star Wars content and Destiny combined into one game. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I cannot wait to go to the Tharsis Junction. I cannot wait to jump into the bar scene there and just see how they put it all together. It's going to be really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. So curious what you're looking forward to playing. Let us know in our Guardian Downcast feedback channel in our Discord. And if you haven't joined our Discord, what are you waiting for? It's discord.gg/GuardianDowncast. You can also send us an email, guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or leave us a voicemail. You just have to go to guardiandowncast.com and hit the send a voicemail button. It's very, very simple to use. Thank you again to my co-host Kingsleymac for checking in and hanging out with me on a weekend show. And if you haven't already, check out my brand new podcast, 50 Years Experience Required. It's on all the podcast apps out there, and in a nutshell, it's personal stories, life lessons, all kinds of things about my life. And this last episode I just released is about my friend Bill. He's a client of mine that cheated death. I mean, you really got to hear this. This episode is really good. It's a great event that happened where originally it was not great, but I swear I might believe in destiny in this situation, because so many things had to come together for this man to cheat death that it was just a really great interview. And if you haven't already, check this one out. I believe it's episode 8, My Friend Bill, the Man Who Cheated Death. You can go to 50yearsexperiencerequired.com or just go to 50yearspod.com. It's that easy. Or look for it in your podcast player out there. That's a wrap. Another episode in our collection. For our new listeners out there, we have 331 other episodes from interviews from gamers all over our community, talking Destiny and whatever on our roundtable episodes. So take a look at those, especially if you're finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, hit that share button. Tell other Destiny players out there where to find us. And all you have to do is say, hey, check out guardiandowncast.com. Remember, as you're playing Renegades, take breaks, get outside, and touch some grass. Miklo. Hey, thank you for the 3-month Twitch sub, by the way. We appreciate that. All of the subscription income, all that goes right back into our community. So thank you, sir. Appreciate that 3 months with us. Remember, everyone, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. And please be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. All right, shorter show this week, guys, because we do have our Desert Perpetual raid tonight. So if you guys want to stick around, we're going to come back at 10:30. I'm going to be live streaming the Desert Perpetual raid with our raid group that we do every week. If you want to see us get through that and want to learn, how to play the raid, I invite you guys to come back at 10:30, which is about 45 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. But that's our show for tonight, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Those of you who came out in the chat tonight, thank you very much. And I guess we'll see you guys in the Discord. Later, Guardians.
Have a good one.
Team-based benchmarking.